Welcome to the Temporary Insanity Podcast. Here are your hosts, Joshua Lewis Pereira, William McCoy, and Sierra Tansey.
Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Temporary Insanity. I'm your host, Joshua Lewis Pereira, and we are back in studio with our awesome co-hosts, Mr. William McCoy and Miss Sierra Tansey. What is happening, my friends?
Yo.
That was a very simple hello today. It's been a long week.
It has been a long week.
To say the least. But
Almost jumped off a building today, I'm just saying.
But I'm just saying, like, we can now officially say TGIF. Well, by the time this airs, we can say TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. I remember when I was a kid, we used to be able to watch TGIF. Like, there was like a whole lineup. Like,
This fly is gonna.
we have another surprise guest star today in the studio. Apparently, we have this massive fly.
You hear aggressive banging throughout this episode. It's because I'm trying to kill it. What do you want from me?
Wow. Always exciting times in the Temporary Insanity studio.
You never know what we'll get.
Do I stink?
But I bring up the TGIF because today's topic kind of goes back to those throwback days. Today we're going to be talking about child actors, and it's funny because I mean, Sierra's been slowly like discreetly throwing some shade towards some child actors over the past few episodes. So
You guys?
She's been planting the seed for this episode for
Okay,
weeks.
so one of the local radio stations here does something called Celebrity Skis. And I listen to it every morning.
well, that's 92.5.
Yeah, I think that's
yeah.
where this is coming from.
Yeah.
Just the Celebrity Skis.
I think Sierra used this masterful psychology on us. I mean, she Yoda'd us into the because over the past last week by the time we were done, I was like, great idea for an episode would probably be to get into this because these guys got messed up. These childhood
you do
actors.
care about Jack.
yeah. Sierra didn't have to suggest it. You're like, no, we want to do a child actor episode.
And then she just looked at me. She's like, "That's an awesome idea." And I'm like, "Wait, so this week I'm like in my room and I'm thinking like, did she play us?"
Yeah, she's like, what a great original idea.
She's like, "You came up with this." So I warned.
I
all
literally
of you.
forgot what this episode was about. I texted our group chat this morning. I was like, "What are we talking about today?"
And then I send it in the group chat, and you're like, "Oh yeah," and then it's almost like you had that in the text I could read. You saying,
said,
I did this. Like this was all me today." So I mean, it's a crazy topic, and it's funny because it's one of those things where we see today like everybody's trying to be like the next sensation, especially like in our young generation, right? Like how many little kids, including my son, right? My son, we just had to put him on a temporary TikTok pause, are trying to be like the next TikTok sensation.
There's a TikTok star that's apparently lost at sea right now.
Lost at sea.
Yeah, I guess they were like, from what I saw this, how Snapchat has the celebrity news section? It's like e-news or something,
No.
but it's like, okay, well, Snapchat does have this little internet news section, and I watched it. And apparently, her and her friends were just hanging out at the beach. She was floating in the ocean, and the tide just took her away.
It's just lost at sea.
I guess
kinda
so. I
crazy.
don't know if they found her. I don't know if this is true.
It's
kind of concerning though.
fact or fiction. That becomes and honestly nowadays when I watch everything on anything online, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. Like the question becomes fact or fiction. You all remember that old school commercial where it's like you could believe anything on the internet, and the guy walks up to the girl from the blind date, and he's like, "I'm a French model. It has to be true because it said so on his online profile." But realistically, what really gets to me on this, and people are probably listening like, "Oh God, why is he talking about this today with them?" Right? Like, what's this have to do with this insane time that we live in? Well, it has to do almost everything now because everybody's trying to be that instant sensation, and it comes back to a principle that we all forget about in the Christian world. That comes from 1 Timothy 6:10. In 1 Timothy 6 verse 10, it says, "For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil." And some people, craving money, have wandered from the true faith and pierced themselves with many sorrows. I mean, guys, I want to be very clear on what I'm saying here. The Bible's not saying that money is the root of all evil because we need money to survive. We need money to buy things and do what we got to do. The Bible is saying that the love of money is the root of all evil. And as we talk about like some of the stuff that we see going on with some of the characters and some of the, and I know that Sierra's been like ready for this, right? And like I know she's just gonna start spitting them out. I'm gonna recognize a few of these names for sure. But as we talk about this, we see that money has become the downfall to many a people. I mean, for the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. So people are doing things to themselves. They're allowing themselves to get into like these crazy predicaments so they can get these sponsorships and they can get all like these whatevers, you know, through online fame or back in the 80s through being like a childhood star, right? And then and some people, the second part of the verse says, and some people craving money have wandered from the true faith and pierced themselves with many sorrows. I mean, let's be frank, and we've said this over the past few weeks. Some people are getting rich too quick, and it's becoming a problem. Like look at like when we talk about like the Olsen twins or Macaulay Culkin or like, you know, like all these other like childhood stars who got their fame and their fortune so quickly, and then like we fast forward and we're like, what happened? Right? Like they allowed themselves to go down these paths that brought them to sorrow. Sometimes, you know, and it's been said that, you know, rather be poor and happy than rich and messed up. Like, you know,
I always find it creepy when like children become famous. Like,
Yeah, it's like,
yeah, like you know you're not famous because a bunch of little kids are watching you.
yeah,
Like,
it's the adults.
like Stranger Things, that whole thing with Millie Bobby Brown, where guys were like, "I can't wait until she turns 18." Like that's weird.
well, I agree to a certain extent because there's this one dude, Ryan. Ryan,
The toys,
the
the-
kid that plays with the
yeah.
toys.
Yeah, he's like 14 now, isn't he?
Yeah, but he grew up and he got famous because of little kids. And I only say this, and the only reason I even know he exists is because when Aiden was like a kid, like 3 years old, Aiden thought Ryan was his best friend. So
That's sad.
Aiden, it was very sad. It was extremely like depressing because I would walk in and I'd see Aiden watching Ryan playing with his toys on YouTube, and I'd be like, "What's up, Aiden? What you doing?" And he was like, "Watching my best friend Ryan play with toys." I'm like, "Aiden, you have that same exact toy in your room.
Yeah.
Why don't you go play with the toy instead of watching Ryan play with it on YouTube?"
I never understood Ryan because like play with your toys. Why? Are you,
Right.
like,
He's
watching
like,
him?
"But Dad, I'm watching my best friend." I'm like, "Aiden, Daddy doesn't want to break your heart, but Daddy's going to be very honest with you. Ryan doesn't know who you are. He doesn't even know that you exist. Go play with your toy. Daddy paid good money for those toys that you have that Ryan has." And then I started to think to myself, did Aiden only ask me for those toys because Ryan has them?
Absolutely.
Right?
Probably.
Absolutely.
And then I got irate because then I'd ask myself a second question. Wait a second. He made me buy the toy that Ryan has. He better play with the toy that Ryan's playing with, not just to look at it because Ryan has it. Because like for him to watch, like if you're gonna just watch the kid play with the toys, then just it's gonna save Dad a lot of money. Just watch him play. Don't
I
make me
guess
buy
it's
him.
the same rule of thumb as watching someone play a video game.
I disagree with that too. Buy the video game and play it yourself.
Okay, video games are very expensive.
I can take this because I am an avid video game player. I think there's a point where you can watch someone who is more skilled than you in a video game.
Yeah.
It's like watching sports.
There's a lot of benefits because then you learn how to play the
Yes.
game. But also, I'm not an avid video game player, but I am an avid video game watcher.
Yeah.
Like I'm on the other end of the spectrum.
I can
Gamers on YouTube, that's my thing.
I can kind of get
it.
it because that's just how society is. That's why we watch movies. That's why we watch sports. At the end of the day, it's entertainment and it's marketing.
Yeah, like
So it's nothing new, but it is, a little strange when like he's like, well, you're only buying things because you see it on YouTube, or you're only buying things.
it's like Josh, you go to baseball games all the time. When was the last time you played baseball?
Yeah, but I stink at baseball.
But when was the last time you played baseball?
Yeah, but I went
It's the
to the
same
game.
point, though.
I don't know.
I think with the kids it's a little different because like, if you have the toy, like toys a little different. 'Cause
That's
it's not like
a
you can
little
play
weird
with a toy
because,
better
like,
than someone
you're
else.
a kid. You should
Yeah.
enjoy playing more than watching.
But if you watch these YouTubers and especially the ones that do like the reaction videos and the prank videos, they're advocating to a younger audience, and their language is like you're part of them. It's like, oh, what, come with us? Oh, my subscribers, we love you. It's like, oh, thanks for you for supporting us. Like they feel like they're doing something, like you're these people's friends, helping them succeed.
Contrary to your point, though, like, yeah, okay, I go to watch baseball games all the time. When was the last time I played? Contrary to that, the opposite spectrum, I hate watching golf, but I love to play it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like I love everything about it. I love driving the golf cart. I love going out there and playing. You know, I'm not the greatest golfer. I mean, Will can attest to that. We just played this week. Like, I did all right. I mean, I wasn't really trying, but I did all right. Although I must say, I did just upgrade my clubs. Got a brand new set of clubs this week. I got them curated. I met with a golf pro. He told me that, you know, he told me what I needed.
Golf is the hyperfixation of the month.
Well, the thing is, you know, apparently in the business world, that's where we're going to be closing a lot of deals. So, like
the golf course.
That's right. When I first started my first company, that's where I closed most of my deals, and then, but that was with people that didn't play golf very well. I have a string of deals that we're about to close with people who actually play golf really well. So I don't want to look like that much of a chump. So I told Nancy, I said, we need something more forgiving. So fair exchange. I got Nancy for our anniversary a new wedding ring, and she got me a set of golf clubs. I think she still made out way better than me, but but it's all good because, like I said in previous episodes, Nancy's definitely like a 100 out of 10, and I am definitely like a 6 at best. So I think the gift situation kind of matches that. But I digress. But you know, so like I get it. I'm not trying to yuck anybody's yum here. Like, you know, you do you. But the thing about it is like we've become a society that's so craved with fame. We all want that instant fame. Look at social media. Like you know, we leave our homes and I know that those of you who know me are gonna probably pick on me for this. But like, you know, we post everything, right? On well, except for Will. Will's like incognito. He's not on any social media platforms.
Will made a Facebook literally just to be on Messenger.
But it's undercover. Like, he doesn't even use his real name. No. Like, he has like a code name.
The only person who's friends with him on Facebook is my dad.
Yeah, that was just like a random thing. I was like, I want to do like the opposite of celebrities. Like they follow, like they have a bunch of followers, but follow one person. I'm just gonna follow one person and have no other people.
Well, but think about it. Like, you know, even us, like we in our crave for fame, like we treat our everyday lives like we're celebrity status. Like we post all the like, and I'm notorious for this. I post all the pictures of the restaurants I go to. Now, to be fair, for those of you who are picking on me, my Facebook has been monetized, so like a lot of those pictures, you know, I make all of like 25 cents for the thousands of clicks that I'm getting.
I honestly don't post much on social media. Most of my Facebook posts are either Ethan or like stupid like shares that's like says something dumb. Like, I can't even remember the last time I posted anything on Instagram. Or I'm a very avid Snapchat user, but it's mostly to rant.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure all that out. I mean, like I just, you know. See, Facebook for me started as something. First of all, Facebook for me started when I was in college because you had to have a college .edu thing, and that was kind of just to see what was going on campus and like you knew where the parties were and stuff like that. And then from there, as I grew, it was more so I used it for like the business pages because Facebook was a great way to promote your businesses. And then from there, like, you know, I was always popular in high school, so I started connecting with friends, and then before you knew it, I had thousands of people like on my Facebook. And then I don't know. And then recently, you know, over the past few years, as things have progressed with like, you know, with between podcasts and like, you know, with my like social stuff that I do in the community, Facebook somehow put a blue dot on my face. And then I asked Rachel what that blue dot was. And then they started asking me to like fill out certain things. And then here we are. But then I lost all my friends. Now they're all followers.
Now they're all followers.
So I'm like, all right, so what happens next? Are they gone? Like...
What you should have done, you should have made a separate Facebook to do all your promoting on.
I didn't know it was gonna be like that. I have like 15 like business
that's
pages.
That's what the celebrities do. They go like incognito and like make a whole different thing.
So now I make like 25 cents on a post, and I got to give like 50 cents of that back to Uncle Sam. So somehow I'm still on the losing end.
I don't really like mind the use of social media. My one thing that like I hate so much, and it might be my least favorite like subcategory of like internet entertainment, is family channels, family Instagram pages, family Facebook, because that to me feels like you're exploiting your child, because you know people aren't here to see you.
You know who loves watching those? Rachel.
No.
You know what I do when she puts them on? Leave the room.
If you are like, oh, going to the park with my child, like, why? Just go to the park with your child. Why do you need to be sticking a camera in its face?
Because they get millions of people to watch, and
My
it
thing
legit
is-
fuels
Wait, so
their
are you
lifestyle.
saying that when I posted today that I was at field day with Aiden with my air horn and I
No.
put all the pictures of my boy
That-
killing it on field day?
I think that is fine because the camera was not like right up in his face. They were not. It wasn't like vlog style.
Well, to be fair, we weren't allowed. According to the school, we had to watch it like a stalker. We had to stay on the sidewalk while they were on the field.
Because here's the thing: a lot of the people you follow, you still know personally. These like family channels and everything, they don't know anyone they're following.
Oh, I get you.
Like,
Yeah.
And I'm very much the person like your kid should be old enough to give consent to be on the internet. Like obviously, I put Ethan on Facebook and Instagram. I know everyone I follow on Facebook and Instagram. Ethan isn't on TikTok. He might be in one, but like Ethan isn't on TikTok or YouTube or any like reel or anything.
To be fair, Ethan is on my Facebook from when we go to lunch
that's
and stuff.
fine
But
because
but I feel you because I don't know how I feel about watching random kids on.
I think there's
Like,
a
I don't-
difference between sharing it with people you know and using your family knowingly that you're going to make money off
yeah,
of it.
just be a family.
Because
You don't need to like.
There was a few of them that Rachel watched, and a couple of them just had babies, and they filmed everything, pretty much everything but the birth. Like before going to the hospital, while the wife is sitting there going through contractions, videotape, vlog,
Yeah, like,
vlog.
I
Oh,
hear
okay, we'll see
people-
when we get home. Well, oh, here's the newborn baby, vlog.
Yeah.
That's kind of
I
disgusting.
hear people talk about that, and I know, like, in my experience after I had Ethan, I wanted people around me, but that's just because I was isolated for 2 weeks. But in most cases, you're only there for, like, 2 or 3 days. You go home a lot of the times, literally the day after you give birth. Like, who wants a camera in their face at that point? There's this one TikTok couple, I'm not going to name names, because with my luck, they'll, like, get to this and get sued. There's this one TikTok couple that like, so she had a baby. 6 months later, she was pregnant again. She has like this illness that causes her to like wake up in the middle of the night and like get sick. The husband literally like first thing to think of while his wife is getting sick is to like stick a camera in her face. Like, why
Well,
are you
that's
doing
a little too
that?
much. I mean, and I'll be honest, like with me, like it's funny because like people ask me sometimes, like, oh, you put a lot of your life on Facebook. Honestly, like I grew up a pastor's son, so like we have a lot of friends, we have a lot of family. So what happens? For me, it's kind of easier for me to put it on the Facebook because we have like a huge church family, we have like a huge family. So I could put it on the Facebook and they could all see it there, or I'm sending out, I don't know, Will, like what we like our family emails, right? When we do like Thanksgiving and stuff like that, they're like 50 to 100 deep, right? Like so like so for us it's like all right, but again, it's also about using that discernment. Like it's about using judgment, like on what you're sharing. I mean,
Like even when Ethan was like got his first bath, I like censored him.
I think the difference is that you guys aren't doing it for money. Like a lot of these people that use their children or these children that are on YouTube are doing it for money. And you see it, if it's interesting when you watch it, they always got to do something that's going to get more views and going to keep people interested.
Well,
and that's
but
where you get in trouble with the love of money.
But it comes down to that sense of exploitation. I think is the real and this is what the heart of the thing is. And let's be honest, social media is a very powerful tool. One of the biggest reasons why I pursued and allowed Facebook to take advantage of my personal page is because I use my page not only for the business, but I use it for church. Like okay, so that means I have a platform that can proclaim the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's pretty much my whole life's purpose. I mean, yeah, I need the business so I can make a living because my kids do like to eat apparently. And I do have to feed them at least, like once a day. Is that at least, do it have to be 3 times? Like,
It depends. As long
I
as they're
don't-
not hungry.
I mean, I don't eat 3 times a day.
As long as they're not hungry.
You
I
know,
think
so-
that's
Well,
good.
I feel like at a certain point you can stop eating 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Like maybe, maybe while they're still growing.
so I mean, there is. So I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that I'm not opportunistic with my social media pages because my social media page does have that presence. Yeah, I do. I am opportunistic in the sense that I use it to promote our church. I use it to promote spiritual things. Like I use it to promote Jesus Christ. I use it to promote scripture. I use it to promote how good God is. even like a lot of like I don't post a lot of like super personal things, but when I do post things that I'm sharing with the whole world, usually just to promote how good God is. Like God did something crazy in my life. This is the God that I serve, you know. And it's funny because like yeah, I suppose that if you look at it from like a certain perspective, people could look at it like, oh, Josh is being boastful or whatever, but it's not. I'm giving glory to God because God's the one. I believe in my life everything I have has been given to me by God. There's a difference between that and exploiting people or exploiting your children. Like for instance, there's this mom, there's this homeless mom. I'm sure you guys have seen her in like Seekonk. Like when you go to the shopping plazas next to like Walmart and stuff, and she sits there. She's panhandling like most homeless people do in the plaza. But like every day when she's panhandling, she has her 2 kids with her, and she's like mom with kids, and she has like literally her 2 little kids sitting next to her while she's like. To me, I'm like, that is so messed up, dude. Like you are legitimately using your kids to panhandle, like, you know.
But like every like homeless individual does that because you see the like people holding the signs that was like has children or like stuff.
Yeah, but they're not bringing their kids to the corner with them.
That's true. I feel worse if someone has a dog with them, honestly.
So basically, I look at social media sometimes, especially parents that are using like little babies, like. All right, let's go back to Ryan. I mean,
oh, you know the parents were getting all of that.
Come
money.
on, Ryan started that YouTube channel. He was under 5 years old. He had no cognitive ability to make up his decision.
Does Ryan still do this?
Yeah, he was picked up by Nickelodeon. Like he's got his.
He's like a teenager though.
Yeah, but now he's a multi-million-dollar teenager.
I'm looking up how old Ryan is.
Yeah, check him out. So I mean, you know, so they exploited this kid to make a living. You know, kind of like Britney Spears' dad did with
What's his name? Ryan what? Like what's his handle? Ryan's Toy something?
Ryan's Toy Review?
Yeah, Ryan's Toy Review. I mean, Britney Spears' dad did the same thing, right? He put her under the conservatorship and all that.
I think it gets tricky once again. Exploitation is involved, and if it's something that normally you wouldn't do, but because you know you'll make money,
richest 12-year-old I know.
Like if normally you'd never put your kids on social media in like the way like these, you know, young actors or actresses do, but then, you know, Nickelodeon comes and says, hey, we want to give you $1 million for your kid. Then you go, oh, for $1 million, sure, I'll do that. Then that gets tricky because if you're normally your mom's like, no, I don't want to exploit my kid, and then you get presented a bag of money and then you'll do it. That's where the issues come in because now it's the money that's driving you.
The biggest show that I can like offer up to explain this is Dance Moms.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. I was like, you know, I'm going to kick it old school to like the pageant moms or like the dance moms.
Some like of these kids from Dance Moms are messed up.
Yeah, but all those kids, it's like those were the moms that they were like literally living vicariously through their children.
But then you have like these little girls, like most of them start at like 8 or 9, and they're like, or like. I was an avid. I loved Dance Moms. I watched all of it. But then like Mackenzie, I think she was like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Like they were like very young. And then there were these people who were like, oh, Maddie is so much better than Chloe. Chloe should just like die. And I was like, she's like 9. Like, come on.
Yeah, I think the cheerleading and the dances for the kids, even sometimes in normal sports, is a whole different issue.
Yeah.
Because then you're putting expectations on kids who don't fully understand what it means to have that type of competition.
They did come out and say that most of Dance Moms was staged, but like
that makes it even worse.
It does make it even worse because these kids are at a young age agreeing to this abuse that they're being put.
Well, no, the kids weren't agreeing,
and they have
the
no
moms
clue
were agreeing.
What's happening?
The kids weren't agreeing. The moms were agreeing, and they were being exploited twice. They were being exploited by the TV network, who was staging the nonsense. And they were being exploited by their parents who were condoning and consenting to it.
You're forgetting Abby Lee Miller. So they were being exploited 3 times.
Right. I mean, look, and nowadays it's even worse because at least back then it was only like TV networks. Now we have the World Wide Web. So now everybody's trying to make it quick, you know, because they're all trying to chase that $1 million, you know, dream, right? I mean, look at I was telling you guys before the show about Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania came out with they've been legislating law to protect children actors. It looks like, if I remember correctly, that like parents of these underage actors have to put aside X amount percentage of whatever they generate into a trust fund that can't be touched by them, so that the kids have the money to be protected. California has something like Conan Law, something like that. Another thing for children actors. So like we're trying to catch up with the times to protect these kids because these parents are cashing in on their children, and we see the result of that. I know we say it like kind of jokingly in a way, but how sad is it? Like one of America's feel good shows like Full House, right? You see the Olsen twins, America's baby. Babies.
They not only messed up their own lives, but they also messed up their younger sister's life, who a lot of people don't know that Elizabeth Olsen is related to them. Like, she has totally disconnected herself from them, like, to the point where she changed her name for a while and only started going by Elizabeth Olsen, like, recently.
Yeah, once she started doing Marvel stuff, she went back to
but,
her
like, she,
original
like,
name.
did not want to be, she did not want to be related to them, and I understand, because there's, like, they had this show, I can't remember what it was called, but it was, like, after Full House, when they, like, were older, they had, like, this show, and this show was, like, purely based around them just being mean to their little sister.
It's crazy.
awful.
I mean, you look at all these guys. I mean, look at how many of these child actors and actresses have issues, like
But
huge drug problems, and
they got so messed up they like refused to be on Full House. I mean Fuller House.
Fuller House. Yeah,
They refused to be on it.
And I think it's interesting because just because you are a child actor or actress does not mean that you're a good actor or actress. So, like, say, I'm not saying this was the case with Olsen twins, but just for an example, how old were they when they that show? Like 2 and like 2 or 4
They
or something
started
like that.
at, like,
Something crazy.
They
they were
started at a
babies.
few months old.
So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
pretty
so
sure.
I
They were the
didn't watch Full
babies.
House. So they start that young, their household name, they're racking up all this money, and now they're teenagers or maybe they're young adults, and they try to act, but then they realize that they're bad actresses, so they're not getting these roles that they think they
Yeah.
should deserve.
Well, because
And now you're rich
yeah.
and depressed. So what do? You party, you take drugs, you spend all your money.
Because
and then you
child
open
actors
clothing lines and
Yeah.
child actors have like the cute factor. Like the only thing you need to be a child actor is to be cute. Most of the time, the only thing you need to be a child actor is be a twin.
True.
Because a lot of child actors
there's a lot. Yeah, they could only work X amount of hours
Yeah.
in a day or in a week. Even I know in California, I think they were saying it was like 8 hours a week or something like that for child, which is why they wanted the twins. The twins, now you're doubling your time because they look the same.
I think
So
the only twins they didn't do that with is Zach and Cody.
Because
I think-
I don't know what they did before Sweet Life. I don't know if they were in anything.
But was it a sweet life?
It was until after.
Cole Sprouse was in that movie with Adam Sandler.
But if that was before the Sweet Life or during around the same time.
He was a baby, and wasn't he also in Friends?
I don't know. I don't watch Friends.
I think Cole Sprouse was the only one that acted.
I mean, you want to talk about parents exploiting their kids. I was telling you guys about I found an article about Jon and Kate +8. They were like the big phenomenon for a long time. This was from back in 2010, and they got took to court because they were breaking all kinds of child labor laws. It looks like they didn't end up with any criminal charges, but they were made to put a bunch of money into trust funds for each of their kids, and then it looks like they were made to get each of their children work permits, like register the kids.
Well,
with
yeah,
work.
because acting is a job technically, and
Yeah.
even if it's reality TV, you're still acting in a sense.
Right. Yeah, like reality TV is not. It's reality, but they make you do like scenes over again.
Acting is still your job.
Yeah.
So technically, to be in a reality TV show, you need to.
Like
be
they
able
have
to
for
work.
like reality TV shows, like they'll make you like walk through doorways again so you can get the right shot.
Yeah.
Like if they miss an argument, they'll like go start over again. Like so you're
Like
not
it's
acting,
reality, but it's like past reality.
yeah, it's like, oh well, that was a good argument. Let's do it again. Like that happens in reality shows. So you're acting a little bit. So I mean, I don't know.
We were talking about her a little before. I don't know if like the camera was running at that point, but like we were talking. Will and I were talking about Jeanette McCurdy. She wrote an amazing book. The title is kind of messed up. It's called "I'm Glad My Mom Died."
Oh, jeez.
Free promo here for her, but like it talks about like what her experience was as a child actor and why she doesn't act anymore, and like. Honestly, I think her experience is pretty similar to what a lot of people went through. Like your mom, like one of your parents, like wanted to be an actor actress growing up, didn't get the chance, made your kid do it.
I mean, and you miss out on a lot of childhood things when your job is acting.
Yeah.
Because you don't go to on vacations. You go to acting classes.
That
and you're
article I
filming.
sent actually talked about how I don't remember her name. The girl that was in Matilda. I've never seen Matilda.
You've never seen Matilda?
You gotta watch Matilda.
What's her name? Mara Wilson. She said she was basically talking about why she's a child actor, didn't act out, I guess, didn't really care, but she was basically talking about how most child actors end up acting out because they didn't get the chance to when they were a kid because they had to like upkeep that perfect image and they couldn't rebel against their parents or like because they were in the limelight and they had like so much on their shoulders that if they acted out it would screw everything up for like their entire family. And like once they like grow up and they turn 18 and can do what they want, that's when they rebel because they couldn't do it when they were a kid.
And just imagine being a teenager after being a child star, and so you're big, you're Hollywood, and you can't leave a house without paparazzi taking a million pictures of you. Like you, like just like I don't think people understand that keeping a face of perfection, even though you're human and you're not 24/7, it breaks the psyche eventually, and that's why I think why you see people turn to drugs and stuff as well. It's because when you're out, you have to put on the face, and you're always tired, and you're always putting forth this energy. When you're at home and you're by yourself, that's when depression kind of sets in. So a lot of people take drugs to forget and feel good. That's the only time they can because they again 8 a.m. they step outside, go get a cup of coffee, and they're getting berated by paparazzi. And then stardom and then Hollywood is so fickle because your money comes from the people. So as long as the people love you, you're good. But as soon as the people don't, and we've talked about social media previously and how fast the rug can be pulled on you when the people make your fame. If you've been loved for years and years and years, and then you make one mistake and everyone hates you, that must wreck you as a person.
Yeah. I'm so glad that I never even had a desire to be an actress. Like, I was Snow White in my grade 4 play. I thought I was bomb at it, but so glad that that's where that ended. Like, when my brother was younger, he actually auditioned to be in a Three Stooges movie.
I think he would have killed that role.
I'm so glad he did not get that role.
But I can sympathize with child actors because growing up playing sports, I think I played flag football at 5 or 6. So it's a different world because again, I'm not gonna be a star, Well, actually, I can lie because nowadays there are young kids that are getting the spotlights. But growing up, I'm not gonna become famous because I'm good at flag football or Pop Warner football or AAU basketball, whatever the sport is. But you're actually seeing that switch now because there's a few kids that are like in middle school, 8th grade, that are getting like full ride scholarships to D1 schools because they're good at baseball. Yeah. And imagine that pressure as a middle school kid. It's like, well, all right, now the eyes are on me. I'm getting, ESPN is talking about me and Duke wants me to go play basketball for him, but I'm in 8th grade. So you have to go through high school, navigate as a teenager, do as well as you can, be as straight arrow as you can, still play basketball, and then go to college.
It starts adding up because it's like I can't fail because I have this thing I'm looking towards. Like with the scholarship, it's always like, well, you have to get straight A's or you're kicked off the team.
Right,
or
it's a lot of pressure.
If you fail this class, you can't play the sport. It's a lot of pressure and like, ew.
It's a lot of pressure for a lot of years. And so going back to like children actresses, like once you're an actor and you're in, like the goal is now the stardom. So like, all right, you finish your child. All right, you gotta be now a preteen actor, then a teen actor. They know we're gonna get you in AAA movies. You're gonna work with this director and that director.
But most of the time, like if you're a child actor, you're like forced to learn how to sing.
Yeah,
like that's a big thing, especially like Disney and Nickelodeon. Like they forced Miranda Cosgrove to put out music. Like what business did she have putting out music? Like
nothing, but they knew that she was popular and people would listen to her.
Like Victoria Justice, I understand because like her show was about music. Like Ariana Grande, when she was an actor, I understood that because again, her show was about music. Like it's just like one of the things, and it's also tough because you have like these acting lessons and singing lessons, but you're also like in between takes taking tests for actual school,
Yep.
and go and like reading textbooks for actual school, and then you have creepy people who are obsessed with your feet, and it's just all downhill from there.
Yeah, that's another thing. You have these adults in the industry who take advantage of these kids and what that can do to them mentally, and how they keep quiet because now again you have all this pressure
Because it's their word against yours.
that too, and then you have the pressure of, oh well, I'm supporting my family, I'm making millions of dollars, and you have this, we've talked about, I don't know if we talked about them, but we all know the directors, the Harvey Weinstein's type who did horrendous things to many up and coming actors and actresses. And a lot of the stories that they tell is kind of like the same thing. Like they're up and coming, or they have a hold on this role, and they're supporting their family, or they're supporting themselves. And it's like, well, you want this next role, you have to do X, Y, and Z, and not tell anyone about it, or if not, I'll ruin you.
Yeah.
And
then like,
you're a preteen.
what are you gonna do? At
What
that
are you gonna
point?
do? And you have to hold on to that trauma for until you break.
And then people still don't come out about it. Like Dan Schneider, like huge one. Like you think of like child predator, Dan Schneider's probably what comes to your mind. He was like obsessed with feet, and he said weird things to the actors. At one point, he wasn't even allowed near them.
Right.
Like when you're a director of a show and you're not even allowed near your actors, like that's a problem. But like nobody cared, and there are still people that like who others have claimed he abused in some kind of way who still don't come out and talk about it.
Right.
Like again, Jeanette McCurdy claimed that he did the same thing that he did to her to Ariana Grande, and Ariana Grande has not said anything about it.
Well, and the thing about it is the church is not allergic to this either. I mean, how many people grew up in church that went kind of nuts, like for instance, Marilyn Manson. I mean, mother he grew up with his mother as an Episcopal in the Episcopal church, his father in the Roman Catholic Church, and Lord knows he walked away from God in a
He ran. Marilyn Manson. Oh man, sprinted.
I mean, and that's back then. That's back. That's back before it became as prevalent as it is now. I mean, and you could name a bunch of other celebs who started off their early careers, singing in churches and being part of the church. On the reverse side, you see a lot of it coming back into the church. Like they call it the celebrity culture. There's actually an article on the Christian Post. I'm going to share it on our feed, where leading pastors discuss the dangers of celebrity culture in church, how the body of Christ should respond. I mean, the church today, and many churches today, are trying so hard to be attractive to the non-believer, to people who don't know who Jesus Christ is, that they've allowed themselves to pretty much look just like the world. So like we're pretty much taking on the culture of the world, but the Bible teaches us to be in the world and not of it. The Bible teaches us, to talk about, sin is sin, and what's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong, and we're walking a slippery slope even as Christians like today. And then what do we think is going to happen to our kids? Like we're all on this rat race to try to do these things that don't even at the end of the day matter. Like because at the end of the day, what matters is our family, like our homes, like our faith.
How bad like the environment for child actors has been also brings up like the concern for any upcoming child actors too. Like it's so bad, but like if Ethan comes up to me and says I want to be an actor, am I supposed to say no because I can't trust that like the producer isn't going to be a freak?
Right. I mean, it's tough, and it's kind of like that with a lot of things. So you never know, who's lurking in the shadows. But again, I think if Ethan came to you and wanted to be an actor, you got to give him a chance. Like same thing if he came up to you and said he wanted to do a sport.
People just need to be putting rules in place for their kids. Like don't make them an Instagram that gets millions of followers right away just because he's an actor now. Like,
and I think the parenting has a lot to do with it as well. You can be as hands-on as you need to as a parent, you can't handle everything, but the more you know, and not just handing your kids off to,
Yeah.
you know,
Don't get them a manager and just be like, well,
Yeah.
they're your problem now.
right.
Well, I think that we digress a little bit on a certain part of it as well. I mean, at the end of the day, our job as parents are to be supportive about for our kids' ambitions. I'm not saying that being ambitious, like if that's your kid's dream, great. But I think it's about having our priorities straight too. Like, first of all, I know as a mom, if Ethan came to you and was like, "Hey, I want to really pursue acting, or I want to be a TikTok celebrity."
Ugh,
That's a
no.
little different. I don't know
I mean,
about that.
but realistically, look at how these guys are getting their start now. It's not like
Yeah.
it's not like back in the day where you're walking into somewhere to be discovered. Like people like talent agents now, they're going on social media and they're finding these guys with millions of hits or these girls with millions of hits, and they're giving them contracts.
Mm.
But I also don't think that Sierra would exploit her kid. Like
Right.
I don't.
No, if Ethan ever wants to be an actor, I think I'm gonna be like, fine, you can, but like, Instagram monitored, anything else monitored, but like
But
also,
I think you would probably go through like but the right steps. Like, all right, we'll get you into acting
I
classes.
think
See if
there's
you
gonna
actually
be
like
like
acting.
an age too. Like, I don't think I'd let him be an actor or anything like under 12.
I also don't think Sierra's gonna be one of those moms that's gonna be like, at the audition, be like, I'm gonna claw that one's eyes out.
Yeah, no,
Like,
I don't care.
You
No,
You see a little boy, Ethan, you're better than
you
him.
didn't get the job. Tough.
I mean, again, what I think the point that I'm trying to make here is, as believers, it's about our mindset. I mean, Hebrews chapter 13 verse 5 says, "Don't love money, be satisfied with what you have. For God has said, I will never fail you, I will never abandon you." I mean, what I mean by when I share this is kind of like the first point when I started the program. The love of money is the root of all evil. We've allowed ourselves to get to this point where we get so ambitious about these crazy things. Like, it's all about that status. It's all about having these things that are just out of our reach. We all want to have. You and Nancy joke about this every once. What's that mansion?
Oh, we're gonna do the beauty guru stuff just so we can get a mansion
Oh,
on,
yeah,
on
Right.
TikTok.
influencer
And
house.
Influencer house is like we've all been conditioned now that we can just flip our phones on ourselves, or we can take our cute kids and we can use them as the gimmicks, so we can get the Bentleys and we can get the sponsorships, so we can have all it's becoming a love of materialistic things. It's because like we're forgetting about the important stuff. Like, okay, you want to have fun with it. I have no problem with that. Like, what I'm saying? Like Lord knows, like Aiden has fun with social media. Like Aiden, like especially with Rachel. Rachel comes and takes like his professional photos, and he puts it on. He's got his little Instagram and stuff. Like, I'm cool with that. Like, but you don't see us like exploiting him with it. Like, we're not like, hey, you got to get all these, like, whatever. Like, he's got he enjoy, like, we have the Instagrams for the dogs. Like, what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
But it's like, but enjoy. But it's not because we're trying to get like the influencer home. We're having fun with it. People are turning this into like this thing where they get hungry for it, and they're trying to get to these things out of reach. But what we forget as believers, especially in the church, is that God told us that He will never leave us or abandon us. Like, why are we so desperate for these things? If we believe in God, yeah, have fun. Focus on the important things. Focus on forget about exploiting your kid to get the likes on Facebook or on Instagram or on whatever else is going to come out in the near future. Meta now is Facebook, right? Focus instead on using your phone to capture those moments that you'll never get again. Capture those things that are crucial.
Yeah. I'm very much a pictures and videos person, and it honestly bothers some of my friends. And they're like, "Why can't you just be in the moment?" I was like, "I am in the moment. I want something to. There's a lot
look
going
back
on
on.
up
You
here.
gotta look
dude.
back on.
Like,
But that was nice. I
there's a
remember
lot
that.
going on up here, man. I need it. Like,
Well, it's funny because I've gotten spoiled because Rachel's kind of like the de facto like family photographer, and I'm the same way. I love to record everything. I love to take because I like to look back, especially like on those tough days where like I love it, and that's one of the other reasons I put so many things on Facebook is because I love it when like a year from now or like this week I had like things from Aiden and Haley from when they were babies pop up in my memories, and I'm like,
Snapchat really has been betraying me lately. Like, hey, look at this haircut you had 6 years ago. I'm like, ew.
oh, Nancy sends me, like, even Google Photos now does it too. They put the collage together, so it's like so there was a collage called Josh and Aiden, and like I love it because like it comes back and you see Aiden like from the time he's like 2, like me and him taking naps, reading to like so like it's in the and it always seems to happen like when I'm having those tough days. It's like, almost like God uses and I know people are gonna like pick on me. They're like, oh, Josh is trying to make social media spiritual, but for real, like I feel like sometimes God uses like those things on my tough days, like you know, Josh is having a hard day today. Let me send him a burst of cuteness with his kids, like from all those thousands of pictures that he's taken, and all of a sudden, like pictures of my kids when they're like little and goofy, right, doing like all these goofy things. Aiden looking like a little pirate when he used to put on the bandana and like you know.
Like, I feel like I don't know if like I'm gonna be speaking on behalf of my parents here. I don't want that to be what I'm doing, but I also feel like there's a lot of pictures that they have of me as a baby that like aren't developed yet, so they just don't exist. I was like, it's been 20 years. Like, develop them at this point.
Yeah, but that's expensive.
They're expensive,
I mean,
man. Yeah.
Rachel's like our family historian with that stuff, and she's been doing a few rolls at a time. But like, we all contribute because it's kind of pricey to do that nowadays.
But I also feel like at the same time they kind of wish that they also grew up in like
the digital age.
Or they had me like in the like me and Joey in the digital age where they could
it's so
just,
much easier, right?
Snap a picture and it's there forever.
And you don't lose it because it go like because now like our pictures get backed up to the cloud. They get back like your phone.
Like I see so many pictures of Joey and I'm like,
where
am I?
I think it's nice though because like you told the story that like when you get these pictures of your family from the past and it's a good story. It's a feel good. Now if I saw on YouTube your face with some Photoshop and says and the 15-minute video says, oh, me and my family go through photos from the past, and it's like and it's a video of you basically sitting with your kids and with Nancy and making jokes and making fun of your kids because it's gonna get you views. I'm gonna look at that and I'm like, oh, that's a little weird.
Yeah, at that point you didn't need to record that.
Right.
That's
that should be for you
thing.
and your family, not for the millions of people who don't know you.
Well, but I also don't use I get it like I also don't deceive people on my social media like I don't really use filters like what you see is what you get. So yes, I am that ugly, everybody. Like when you see me what you see is what you get. Like I might do like black and white shots and I might blur backgrounds and stuff like that, but but when you see me that's my real face. Like when you see my kids that's their real face.
I can understand I post Ethan a lot on Facebook because Ethan has family that lives far away and doesn't see him very often.
But we also need our Ethan fix. Like you're giving us junkies
there are
our
people
fix.
that want to see Ethan a lot more than they want to see like the memes I'm posting on Facebook. I've literally reached meme level mom status. Like that's where I'm at right
Listen,
now.
you've accepted the rest of us has accepted. Nobody cares about me.
No one cares about me.
They care about my children.
Everyone cares
all
about
right?
Ethan. It's like I don't really care about likes or anything, but I do find it funny. Like I'll post something not Ethan related and be like, oh, like 10, 15 likes. Ethan 45.
Right.
67. Like what?
It's I learned that a few weeks ago I had posted about Aiden. Aiden had to do a procedure at the hospital. I posted that procedure, hundreds of likes. My stuff, yeah, all right, 50. It's absolutely bananas. But but now you can see why people are exploiting their kids. They're
it's addictive.
They're like yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get the followers for me, so I'm gonna put my cute kid on here. I'm gonna sucker them into liking my page, and I'm gonna take advantage of getting with
It's also a feel good thing because like you say, like you get 15 likes with you, and then you add Ethan, and it's 45, and then you add Ethan at the beach, and it's 100.
Yeah, I'm so happy. I just
Ethan
don't care
on
about
video, and then 1,000, and then 10,000, 100,000.
Please like my kid more than me. Like I don't care if you like me. I care if you like my kid.
Well, here's the problem we face ourselves with today, and this is a major issue. Not just with like the child actor thing. I mean, look, it started back in the day with we started to say with like Hillary Duff and you've seen it with Miley Cyrus and
we can go even deeper in that. Like Michael Jackson's like the poster child for child exploitation.
You know who's been in the spotlight a lot lately, and I don't know why. I just keep seeing her everywhere. The girl that played Darla in Little Rascals. I've been seeing her everywhere. Everyone thinks she's the most beautiful person ever.
Oh, you see it with Macaulay Culkin. There was this thing going around, say they were gonna do a new Home Alone redemption or whatever.
Yeah, they're making supposed to be.
Was that actually for real, or was that
I don't know.
A prank?
You know the kid from Home Alone is married to London Tipton from
Really?
Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. It's wild.
I mean, we've seen this has been a trend forever, but and honestly, it was bad already. But the problem we have now, so now more so than ever, is that unfortunately, with the evolution of technology, with like the internet being as crazy as it is now, where it's pretty much the Wild West. Because let's be honest, there's no way to really regulate the web. Like the web, the internet is really the Wild West. Laws have not really the laws that protect our kids have not really they haven't evolved enough to really give us anything to I mean, you see states trying, you see states implementing things, but at the end of the day, like, we're behind on that. Like we haven't evolved the law and criminal law to protect people, not just with like exploiting their children online, but even with like just like online crime altogether. Like you see how it's like, look at identity theft. Identity theft when it's done online, it's like okay, like, so what are you gonna do? You can't cyberbullying, right?
Laws on that
like
either.
what are you gonna do? Like, it's like we're so behind with the ability to enforce things when it comes to the online world. I mean, granted, how they would do it, I'm not smart enough to really speculate. I mean, because that, I mean,
I think there's this assumption that parents should know what's best for their kids, so like people don't really care that much. Like, this is something I'm very passionate about because like child advocacy is what I want to get into, and this like falls right into that. So maybe that's why I was so interested in this episode. But like,
you used mind control to get it. So I mean,
so I think like the assumption is, well, the parent is in charge of the kid. The parent obviously know what's best for the kid. So like, why have these laws?
Well, and then what kid is gonna be like, no, like, what kid doesn't dream about being famous?
Right.
Like I don't know any kid that's gonna be like, mom's gonna be like, hey, you want to be a TikTok sensation? I mean, first of all, I'm still figuring the TikTok thing out because I don't spend a lot of time on it because I hear it's like the worst drug now because people be going down these rabbit holes.
It's so bad they have like ads now that's like, stop scrolling, go
Right.
get water, go to the
Right.
bathroom, please just stop.
So I'm very limited on TikTok. But when I do go on, like, on my For You page, whatever, and I'm scrolling up and like, it's like you start with regular aged people like around my age, and then like progressively they get younger and younger, and I'm like, wait a second. And sometimes I ask myself, like, who are your parents, and why are they letting you do this? Like,
well, here's the thing too. Who knows if the parents know that the kids are doing
oh,
that?
come on, man. If your kid's got like 5 million hits on TikTok.
There's some parents who don't know how to work a smartphone.
The thing that like skeeves me out too is when like you see parents dancing with their kid on TikTok.
Yeah, like
And,
the mom-daughter challenge.
Yeah,
And then like this mom who's like clearly at an age where she should not be dressed in that fashion. I'm saying this as nicely as I can, not to insult anybody. And I'm like, come on now.
I don't care. Like, dress however you want. Like, I know a lot of people that were teen moms will still dress on the younger side because they're still young, but like, you're still a mom.
Yeah, but you
Don't be pulling up to the kid's school in like booty shorts and a crop top.
But then you're going on TikTok and you're doing like this provocative dance with your daughter.
Yeah.
And you're both dressed highly inappropriately, showing things that shouldn't be
wanna
shown on the TikTok.
Why it's cool? Because that's what Kim Kardashian does with her daughter.
But then they try
So
to like
it's
get away with
fine.
it because the moves are altered to be kid friendly. But you're still behind her doing like the provocative dance. So, like,
Even
it's
the
not
moves that are
better.
kid friendly, it's really not that much better. I mean, because your kid is still dressed in a way that's provocative. It's not like, because like, listen, it's just not right. It's
Why
just
aren't
not
we
right.
dressing children like children anymore? Like, we've had this conversation before. Like, dress your kids cute. Dress them like children. Why are we dressing them in like short?
It's because we're in the age where we have to let
I'm so glad I
kids
don't have a girl.
younger be expressive how they want to. So they go on TikTok and social media, and they see people around their age or maybe a little older, but that's what they watch. That's what on their For You page, wearing Lululemon anything, and that's what they want to
Lululemon is
buy.
literally see-through.
I have no
That's
idea
the
what any
thing.
of this is. Here's what I told my daughter, all right? I told my daughter very clearly, and she knows that I'm shameless. I said, Haley, the day you go to school dressed in an inappropriate way that daddy does not approve, I will show up to your school dressed in an inappropriate way that you do not approve and wait for the bell to ring in front of all your friends. I will wear a belly shirt and some Daisy Dukes.
I
And you don't want nobody seeing your daddy in that. I'm telling you that right now.
understand it because I am a very big advocate that like school dress codes a little strict, like with the whole elbows and like shoulder thing. But like, I'm sorry if the kid's like belly button, like if you have like literally half a shirt on,
Then yeah, that's
a little much.
that's big.
And then we have these moms that are like, well, I'm just gonna bring her home and bring her back to school and something worse tomorrow. It's like,
yeah, then prove a point. Like that's not.
or then there's the people where it's like, well, why are you staring at my daughter? You're a grown man. Like,
Yeah.
it's not the point. The point is like, you're in school.
Though
you're there
it's
to learn.
true-
It's not a fashion show.
Though it's
like,
true
come
that they
on.
say that, let's not provoke anybody. You know, like you know.
That's what I'm here for.
I mean, you know, no, I'm saying, but like, I'm saying to the parent that says that to someone, well, you're a grown man.
Oh yeah.
Like, not that I, you know, I agree with you. You're a grown man. You shouldn't, you know, keep your eyes where they belong.
Obviously.
But at the
yeah,
same
that's
time,
not what I'm
Mom,
saying.
let's use some common sense. Let's use some common sense.
History has shown us that there are some grown adults who have interest in children. So why would you try to put your daughter or son
Yeah,
in danger?
I've definitely come across the sketchy teacher in my day. Like, not towards me, but like I'll
You
see.
just don't. You just
I'll
don't
see
know.
how some male teachers are staring at the girls at the school. Like I've caught that before. So like if I had a girl, it's not even because like I don't want you to dress the way you want to. I don't want people to be like objectifying you, like sexualizing you, and like
I see an article almost monthly at this point that comes across my Instagram feed of another teacher, and a lot of them are females now that are getting caught having relations in different forms with underage
Are you talking
boys.
about like the Canadian like not prime minister? There's someone in Canadian power.
Well, that all started with Mary Kay Letourneau, man. That was they made a movie out of that and everything. I mean, but that's also been a societal shift. I mean, because you know, I think the reason we're seeing that a lot more now is because you know, back in the day, you know, people used to have that mentality of like, hey, you know, boys, keep your mouth shut about that, because you know, but look, I feel that it's messed up when parents let their kids go like that just in regular public. Now throw that on the internet to be exploited and, you know, try to make a name for yourself in front of like the whole, like, because here's the thing people don't realize, once it's online you can't get it back.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's what we were talking about Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things, how
Yep.
she started when she was like what 9. I think she was the
Yeah.
youngest in the cast.
Mhm.
Like she was like 9-10 years old when season 1 came out, and everyone was like, she's so beautiful, I can't wait until she turns 18, this and
Well,
that. Like when you turn 18, start an OnlyFans, this
remember-
and that.
is that the girl that started the only? Who's the girl?
No.
Wasn't there a girl on TikTok or whatever that she was underage and then on her 18th birthday
Yes,
she
I was about to
started?
say that.
Yeah.
There's the Catch Me Outside girl from Dr. Phil. She was
Her.
what 15 when she was on that show,
Yeah.
and then the day she turned 18, like 17, 18, she dropped her OnlyFans and made millions of dollars.
Grown men. I was like, you were waiting for that.
Fawning over
That's
this girl. Yeah.
Disgusting. And like people wanted that for Millie Bobby Brown too. And the day she turned 18, everyone was like, oh, OnlyFans link, this and that. And she was like, stop. This is disgusting. It's always been disgusting. Like now she's marrying John Bon Jovi's son.
Yeah, I did see that.
This is just crazy though, because I mean, like, and when you think about it, you know, I told people like, you know, in the time, in scriptural time, you know, we think about like places like Sodom and Gomorrah, where the Bible talks about how immoral it was, like, and I mean, I can't speak to, you know, because I wasn't there, but looking at what we got going on now, where like, you know, we went to Vegas. Remember we were in Vegas last November?
Yep.
And like literally just billboards. Like you didn't have to go to the street corner for a call girl. Like you
Just call
like
on the
you
billboard.
called them and they came to you.
Straight
like
to
like
your hotel,
like straight
call
like
this
you know
number.
it was like ordering a pizza. Like now
Crazy.
TikTok with like the links to the private pages on OnlyFans, and like this world is just getting more and more immoral, and like objectifying these children. Oh, remember when I think we started talking about this a few weeks ago when they were trying to be like pedophilia is love too. Like they were
Yeah.
trying to be
They
included.
were trying to make it a sexuality.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yeah.
like love is love and pedophilia is love. Like, what is wrong with you people?
And
Even
it
like
the
will
innocence of
eventually
children.
pass. It will probably eventually pass, and it'll probably be California.
California, we need to trade them for we need to trade California for another. But I mean, I digress on
or
that.
some random state like Illinois.
Some
No, but I'm
crazy.
saying like, you know, and then like again, like then we wonder why these kids get messed up. We're exploiting these like the Bible talks about the innocence of children. Like these kids don't know any better. They like they're trusting. The grown-ups in the room are supposed to be the wise ones, and these children are trusting these grown-ups to like to make good decisions.
Kids are only gonna know it's bad if you explain to them why and how it's bad.
But they become a product of their upbringing. If they don't know anything else, what are they gonna do? Like, what I'm saying? If you raise a child with all this craziness, look, there's a verse that says it perfectly. 1 John 2:15 and 16. It says, "Do not love this world nor the things that it offers you. For when you love this world, you do not love the things of the Father in you. For the world offers only a craving of physical pleasure and a craving for everything we see, and pride in our achievements and possessions. These are not from the Father, but are from this world." Like, basically, what this is saying is like, if you only love the things the world has to offer you, like you're setting yourself up for failure. Like, if you're a kid that's brought up in a superficial home, like where like for instance, like the pageant moms, like we were talking about, or like the dance moms that we were talking about, these girls that were objectified in these things, like starving themselves and like objectifying themselves to do all these stupid things so that their moms can feel good about themselves. Yeah, I called it out. Stupid things so that you moms who were losers probably when you were kids and couldn't make it yourselves in these pageants had to live vicariously through your daughters. And these kids knew nothing else because that's the way they were raised. They were raised to love the things of the world and not realize that there were better things in life than wanting to claw some other kid's eyes out because they want a stupid sash and a little tiara. I'll tell you what, kid, you're beautiful. I'll buy you a tiara.
You see some of those trophies? They were big. Okay.
I'll buy you a trophy. There was like you could get it on Amazon, $20.
Yeah, but then that also skews a kid's a view of success because you're used to winning.
Yeah.
You're used to these big trophies.
Well, going back to Dance Moms, that was one of the big things. Like, there was this one girl that was so used to winning. She was like, I'm not going to lose. And then she would lose and have a meltdown.
Yeah. And you're doing that at 6, 7, 10, whatever it is. You don't know what the world has for you yet. Like, you haven't gone through anything. So if you're breaking down because you got second instead of first, life is going downhill from there.
Those girls have not had to work a day in their lives.
Well, and then we wonder why we have like this whole issue with these kids growing up with body dysmorphia and anorexia and bulimia and all
depression
this all this depression and stuff like that, thinking that they're never gonna amount to anything because mommy didn't think they were good enough, like all these mommy and daddy issues. I mean, what they fail to realize, and what I love about that verse in 1 John is it's simply saying, like, if we fall in love with the things that are here, we're falling in love with something that doesn't matter, something that's going to continue to make you feel worthless, because the only thing that matters is what God has to offer us, because God's going to give you something unconditional. It's funny. I was talking to somebody earlier about how we're going through like all this identity crisis stuff now, where people are trying to figure things out. But there are a couple of things that the Bible tells me that are you can't argue with. They're undeniable. First off, God doesn't make mistakes. All right, He's infallible. All right, and second, the Bible teaches us that we were all made in His own image. Which means that if God's perfect in every way, and He creates us in His own image, then He's created us in a perfect way, right? So like all this stuff where we're having like these problems with our identities and where we don't like ourselves, or we have these issues, and we've talked about this a bunch of times in the past, like off air, of course, but like that means we're exactly who we're supposed to be, and we should love ourselves for that, because God made us this way. God made us who we are. God designed us perfectly, just like in His own, like they said, like the Bible says, in His own image. I mean, these girls who go through this torment to make it. Come on, man, you're beautiful just the way you are.
That's what it comes down to. You need to teach your kids these things, like. Those things where it's like, oh, my love language is like physical touch, this. I think everyone's love language should be words of affirmation. Like, that should not be a love language.
Listen,
that should just be a thing. You
and I both know, and everyone who knows me, is my love language is gifting. Is that what it?
Gift giving.
Gift giving, yes.
But it's like everyone's love language should be everyone should have the words of affirmation love language. Everyone should be like being told that they're doing a good job, or that they're beautiful or handsome or pretty
Oh, I
and this
agree.
and that. But it's also like you need to teach your kids that getting compliments is normal and something that should be happening, because now we have these like girls and even guys who get a compliment and they completely shut down because they're not used to it.
I think we need to teach kids self-worth. I do agree that kids need to learn to take compliments and but I also think the way society now is built, that can get a little tricky
Yeah.
because there's a hierarchy of anything, talent, beauty.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point a kid will look at, name celebrity here that everyone says is beautiful, look at themselves in the mirror and be like, well, I don't look like him or her. So I think that you have to teach kids how to love themselves first as they are. So when they don't get certain compliments or they don't measure
Yeah.
up, and in society's eyes, they're still solid in
It's like
themselves.
one of the things I hear the most is like, oh, I'm good at this thing, but this person's better. Like, I think everyone needs
Right.
to understand there's always going to be someone better than you at something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're a great artist, it doesn't mean you're not a good artist just because that person's
You can
better
be,
than
you can be an
you.
artist in your own way.
Yeah, it's like it's like going back to like the beauty standard thing, girls should not be so used to getting catcalled as they are.
Yeah.
Like, people should not catcall you on the street and you not even not even flinch at it. Like, that's not normal. And I think that's one of the problems. Like,
The problems that we can put a worth on something in society. So say like for talent wise, say you like sports. Well, if you don't make the professional leagues, you're not good enough. If you don't make that D1 school, you're not good enough. If you're in pageants but you're not getting the modeling deals, you're not pretty enough. You're not elegant enough.
yeah.
Right? And that's what people, not just kids but adults as well, measure themselves against. And it's worldly things again are fickle, because you can have a model, she might get into an accident, mangle her face up, and now she's not pretty. You can't be a model anymore. No one really wants you. And when we put our worth against earthly things, we're setting ourselves up for failure.
And I think that's where a lot of the meltdowns bringing it back to child actors. I think that's where a lot of the meltdowns come from, because there's people that like, oh, well, this actor's better than I am. This actor got the role. I lost it. Like,
Well, they get treated like possessions rather than people. I mean, they get used and then thrown away, and then they don't know what their worth is.
Right.
But you know, I think that's a perfect segue point though, because honestly, like, there's a lot of you listening to this that don't know what your worth is, and maybe you're not a childhood actor, because the Lord knows I wasn't, but there's been times in my life where I feel the same way, where you're just kind of trying to find your place and what your point or your purpose is, and why you're here, and maybe you find yourself in a situation where you're just trying to figure things out, and you're kind of drowning, and you feel like you're kind of treading water, and you're getting tired, and you feel like you're about to just sink. I know I use this verse almost every week, but it's kind of the foundation of where we come from week to week. You know, John chapter 3, verse 16 and 17 says that God loved the world so much that he sent his son, his only son, to die. But he didn't just send his son to die for this world, to condemn it, but that the world through him might be saved. For God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten son, that whosoever should believe in him shall not perish but have eternal life. That's exactly what it says in John chapter 3, verse 16. But in 17 it says, for God sent not his son into the world to condemn this world, but that the world through him might be saved. I mean, as you've listened to the sound of our voices today, we're talking about how there's a lot of heartbreak out there. Unfortunately, we when we watch the news, when we watch social media, the things that catch on are usually tragic. I mean, it's not usually like the happy-go-lucky stuff. I mean, we don't usually pick up CNN and be like, in today's news, someone's giving out hugs. Like, no, it's usually like, this one killed this one, or that one did that. When we hear about childhood actors, we're not usually hearing like how great they've done. We're usually hearing like, this one's back in rehab. This one just, look at the big free Britney, like, conservatorship, or we don't really hear about the success stories of how people turn things around. We usually hear about how people are in the midst of chaos. And quite frankly, over the past few years, when I talk to people, it seems like we find ourselves in the midst of chaos more so than not. I mean, in the past few years, I've talked to a lot of people that are just feel like, life is slipping through their fingers and they can't seem to get control. And what we're trying to talk about on this program from week to week, and what we've made pretty clear today, is that the things of this world, yeah, they're nice. It's nice to have some stuff. I mean, I wouldn't mind having a Bentley and one of the big influencer homes like Sierra and Will were just sharing a few moments ago.
Fun.
I mean,
that would be fun.
So fun.
But
that's basically what it is when we go camping, right?
right. But I mean, the beauty of it is that I serve a God that will maybe not give me the huge things, but he's going to sustain me with everything that I need. He'll give me the food on my table that I need. He'll give me a house and a roof over my head that I need. He'll give me a car that has 4 wheels and drives that'll get me to work and home. It may not be the flashy things that the world aspires to in this temporal place that we call earth or home for the time that we're here, but he gets me to where I need to be, and he does so in a way where I can live out this time on earth and then spend the rest of eternity in a permanent home that is so much greater. I love what it says in John chapter 12, verse 37 to 50, and I know it sounds like a lot, but I want to just listen to the sound of my voice as I share this little piece of scripture with you. It's entitled The Unbelief of People. And maybe you're one of those people that are sitting in unbelief today, but listen to what it says, because this is so true about what we're going through. It says in verse 37, but despite all the miraculous signs Jesus has done, most of the people still did not believe in him. This is exactly what Isaiah the prophet had predicted. Lord, who has believed our message? To whom has the Lord revealed his powerful arm? But the people couldn't believe, for as Isaiah also said, the Lord has blinded their eyes and hardened their hearts, so that their eyes cannot see and their hearts cannot understand, and they cannot turn to me and have me heal them. Verse 41. Isaiah was referring to Jesus when he said this because he saw the future and spoke of the Messiah's glory. Many people did believe in him, however, including some of the Jewish leaders, but they wouldn't admit it for fear of for fear that the Pharisees would expel them from the synagogue. For they loved human praise more than they loved the praise of God. I mean, I'm going to pause there for a second. Basically what it's saying here is, we may know people that have a relationship with Jesus Christ. We may see what the world calls miracles, right? Like these awesome things that God may do. We may, have these times where we're like, hey, on the fence of accepting Jesus Christ into our lives. But, it comes to a point, like we talked about today, that sometimes we just love human praise more than the praise of God. Sometimes it's a hard decision because we become that outlier. We become that minority point of view, right? Sometimes it becomes hard for us to do it because we want to be accepted by the masses. We don't want to be put out, right? But listen to what it says in verse 44. Jesus shouted to the crowds, if you trust me, you are trusting not only me, but also God who sent me. For when you see me, you are seeing the one who sent me. I have come as a light to shine in this dark world, so that all who put their trust in me will no longer remain in the dark. I will not judge those who hear me, but don't obey me, for I have come to save the world and not to judge it. But all who reject me and my message will be judged on the day of judgment by the truth I have spoken. I don't speak on my own authority. The Father who sent me has commanded me what to say and how to say it. And I know his commands lead to eternal life, so I say whatever the Father tells me to say. Listen, it's like I just said in verse 17 of John chapter 3. God didn't send his son to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. This is what our purpose is on this program, is to tell you about a way out, to tell you that you're not condemned, you're not doomed, you have options. You may not feel like you have an option. You may feel like you're cornered and trapped. But God sent his son to die for you. Even though you may think you don't deserve it, even though you may think you're not worth it, he thought you were worth every drop of blood on that cross. There's going to be a day where we're going to come face to face with our Creator. And because we care and because we love you, we're telling you the truth. There's a choice that has to be made. On that day of judgment, will you have chosen to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior? Or will you have chosen to deny him and live based on what the world thinks is acceptable? We all see how this world is going. We all see where this world is headed. But I promise you about this new world, this world that comes in this time where God sends his son to blow the trumpet and we rise to meet him in the air, this time of eternity with our Savior. Don't wait. Don't put it off till tomorrow. We don't know if tomorrow's guaranteed. Death has no age. Secure your eternity. If you're interested in getting to know who Jesus Christ is as your personal Savior, we want to pray with you. Give us a shout. Call us, DM us, email us. I don't care how you get in contact with us. Go to our website, www.temporaryinsanitypodcast.com, or check out our church's website, www.savinggrace.church.com, and somebody will be here ready to talk to you, explain to you what faith is, answer your questions, but most of all, we'll be here to pray with you and lead you to Christ. The Bible says that when we accept Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior, all of heaven rejoices. But I'll tell you what, not only will heaven be rejoicing, we'll be here to rejoice with you, set you up with the Bible and set you up with the church where you can get to know who God truly is. I know that was a large mouthful, guys, but it had to be said. Most of all, don't exploit your children.
No.
For real.
Don't exploit your children.
Don't try to be the next TikTok or Facebook or Instagram sensation. Just let it be. If it's meant to be, it'll happen on its
If it was
own.
natural, let it happen.
Just enjoy your life with your children. Just like, they're your kids, right? They're not like the internet's kids. Like, America's sweetheart is like my least favorite phrase to ever exist.
I mean, everybody wants to have the Charlie bit me kid, you know? So,
Charlie bit my finger.
I think that's all I got. Do you guys have anything else to add for today?
No, I've ranted enough, I think.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Sarah, did we do you some justice? Do you feel alleviated as we discussed this topic today?
Yeah.
Are you getting ready to subconsciously put any other thoughts for programs in our brains?
Maybe.
She totally yoded us. I love it. I love it. I love it. Listen, I don't know if you have a church that you go to, but if you find yourself in the North Providence area, we'd love to have you join us here at Saving Grace. We're located at 1 Volturno Street in North Providence, Rhode Island. Our services are every Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. And if you're not in the area and you want to watch us, you can watch us online. Tell us how, Sierra.
You can go on our Facebook at www.facebook.com/
Saving Our Eye.
Is it just, oh, it's Saving Our Eye.
Saving Our Eye. Saving Grace was taken by some mega church out west.
And watch our live.
Yep, we're at Saving Our Eye on Facebook, Saving Our Eye on YouTube, Saving_Our Eye on Instagram, because Saving Our Eye was taken there. We had to change, had the underscore.
Was it by like an environmental group?
I have no idea.
Probably was.
If you want to get some in-depth Bible study, we do have a Sunday school every Sunday morning at 9:30 called the Bible Workshop, where you can get in-depth study with Pastor Floriano Pereira. He does dissect Scripture. It's a great time to get into the Word of God. Maybe you're not from around here and you're looking for a good, God-fearing, Bible-following church. We're plugged into churches all over the country. Let us know where you're at. We will find you a church where you can plug into that community and get to know who God truly is. So get active. Get into the house of God. Build a relationship with Him, because we see where this world is headed. Times are crazy. And the only way to get through this with any type of sanity is with Jesus Christ on your side. That's all I got for today. You guys got anything else?
We're good.
All right. Well, we thank you for tuning in today. We will catch you guys next week at noon. Check out our behind the scenes at 3 p.m. You'll get some good stuff. Last week's behind the scenes was a little crazy. We had probably a good 15-minute interlude before the show started. My dad actually made a surprise appearance because we were already recording when he came in. So check out our behind the scenes on YouTube, and check out our site for everything that's going on. We thank you again for all the support you've been giving us over these past few weeks. And now I'm going to turn it over to my boy Aiden to close us out. God bless you all. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. New episodes drop every Friday at noon. Have a question about our faith or the insane times we live in? Go to our website, www.temporaryinsanitypodcast.com, and record a voice message. It may end up on our show. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and our YouTube channel at Temporary Insanity Podcast.